Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast,
where the supernatural gets real, baby.
Hey, Spirit Gang. Welcome back to Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My. I'm your host, Nancy Christine Brady.
And I'm Tara Diana.
And we're so excited to have you here. Today is going to be a really cool episode, Tara, because this is actually from one of our Spirit Lounge people, Lori.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So, what is it? I know that we're going to do this in two parts, Nan. So, are we going to say what her question was? Are we going to let everyone in, or are we just going to tease them?
We're going to tease them a little bit because she pretty much kind of put a full paragraph, but the summary of it is she wanted to sort of deep dive into past lives. So Tara is going to cover the first part, which is going to be about past lives. And then we're going to have a part 2 to this episode, which is going to be about soul evolution. And that should cover a lot of Lori's other questions.
Okay. I love the fact that we are getting these from our Spirit Lounge members. I also love that we are diving a little bit into things that are not necessarily metaphysical in terms of like oracle cards or, divining rods or things like that. This is a little bit outside, and a lot of hypnotherapists do a lot with past lives. Now, I am not a hypnotherapist. I do past lives for people, but I do it from a place of spirit guide to spirit guide. So spirit guides coming through, helping you work through your doorways, whatever you want to call it. That's how I do it. I can't be hypnotized. So I feel like if I can't be hypnotized, I'm not going to try to hypnotize other people. Do you know what I mean?
But it's interesting because a lot of mediums and psychics I find cannot be hypnotized.
Yeah, I agree. Here's an interesting thing, though. I would never want to put myself out there to do something that I couldn't have done for me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's set the stage. What is past life purpose? Like, what is the purpose of going and getting a past life? And there's many. Past lives aren't just, random historical cameos. When you go and you're like, okay, I'm suddenly in. I remember my first past life I ever did. It was like Little House on the Prairie. I was like in this little log cabin on this big farm and rolling hills of grass and whatever. But past lives are actually soul missions. We have past lives because we are constantly learning in them and bringing forward what we learn into our new lives, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So have you had a past life done?
Yes, I have had a few done, and they were very, very interesting.
And were you hypnotized in yours?
No, it was actually I can't really be hypnotized either, but it was, I don't know how to explain it. It was more of like a deep, deep meditation.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's how I do it. When I take someone into that space, it's like a deep, deep meditation. It's got some symbolism of like a hypnotherapy, like walk up the stairs, 1, 2, 3. But it's exactly.
Yeah.
So each life has a core intention, right? Something your soul wanted to experience, learn, master, or maybe even heal. And so when you go back and you get taken on a journey back. Some people do it through the Akashic Records, which is another way that it can be done. But when you go back, you're usually looking for something. There is the odd person who is like, just do a past life. I want to see if I was, married to Elvis or, something like that. They're doing it for fun. But most people that I've done a past life for are looking for answers. I had a woman who did one about water, right? She was terrified of water, like going over her head in water. And let me tell you, there was very good reason that once we got there. And then when she did the past life, and I'm not saying this happens to everyone, you guys, but when she finished with the past life and she found out what it was she was scared about, what was the fear factor in all of this, she literally was okay. Did she go full swimming, dive into the ocean, and no, but she wasn't as afraid of the water as she once was. It wasn't like a that gripping kind of fear. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. So a past life usually has a core intention, and think of them as chapters in your soul book. And that's why people can go back to the Akashic records, flip through their records, right? Open their file cabinet, take out their file folder, go through, you know what I mean? Because it will have everything in there if that's the easiest way for you to connect, to do it yourself. I digress. We're not going there. But this life is your latest life. It's your juiciest life because it's the one that's happening right now. So you want to be all in here knowing that you have taken pieces of your past lives, lessons that you've learned, and you've brought them in here. And sometimes you have to be reminded of what those lessons are. And that's why you would go back. So the main spiritual purpose past lives can hold are like karmic evolution, balancing lessons, not punishment. Patterns repeat until they're understood. So the same things happening over and over and over. And do you know where we find this the most when we're doing readings, Nan?
Weird, Tara.
Let me tell you, Nan. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
It is usually in relationships. Why do I keep picking the same type of person? Why? Why do I keep following this path? Why do I keep doing this kind of thing? And it is a repetitive motion that you are, like a repetitive behavior, a pattern that you are literally acknowledging. And going back and doing like a past life with that can show you why you keep doing that. It can also give you the tool. Can I say this, Nan? A past life can actually give you the tool to stop it. Like I just talked about that whole water thing with her. There was another woman that was terrified of closets with doors. I actually had to take this was so long ago, I had to take the door off my closet in my reading room because we were doing several bits of work, and I never put the door back on. I put a curtain on because she just could not come into a space. I don't know how she coped. I don't know how she did things. Maybe it was easy for her to we never discussed that portion of it, but for her to just walk past a closet, but she could not know that there was a closet door in here. And that one was wild. And actually, I felt like I needed to have some soul work done after that one. So,
Wow.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. So, patterns are a big thing with past lives. It's a good way to see if you have left a lesson behind and not brought it with you to this life. And you were literally like that recycling. You're just doing it over and over and over again because you're not latching on to what you learned. Soul gifts and mastery, carrying talents forward, right? Healing, intuition, creativity, and leadership. This is an interesting one for me because I truly believe that we bring the good stuff with us into like the things that we master in our past lives. Like if you were a really good farmer, Nan, I feel like you would have been a good farmer. Can I?
Now, people who are listening, thank you very much. The reason she's saying that is because when she comes to my house, she's overwhelmed with how many plants I have. So,
well, animals too, though, baby. Like animals too, you have that connection. So I feel like in a past life, if we were to go down that journey, we would be able to see, you know, something that you brought from, and it wouldn't have to be necessarily like a cow or a horse or a chicken. Something that you just really, again, connected to. Maybe the stray animals in the streets of wherever you were from or whatever. But this also goes down to the idea that we are more than just what our DNA is.
100%.
Okay? So when people say, oh, you know, my mom was a medium and my dad's a medium or my great-grandma 14 times passed down. Remember that woman in church? My aunt 5 times removed. Oh, okay. How would you even know that? But anyway, you know, that's true. You know, you're carrying that, but you've probably carried it more, that gift or the mastery, more from a past life or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And it's just built into something spectacular in this, you know, the juicy life you're living now, than it is from your fact that your mother could read it or whatnot.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that with your ancestry, your like ancestors carry a very strong ability to work with spirit or with the metaphysical, right? Whereas mine don't. Or at least they didn't honor it in any way. I mean, my mom was very, very lies behind her head. Her intuitive nature was bar none for sure, right? Made it hard to sneak out at night and stuff. But, she didn't carry that. So the next thing is like wounding and healing archetypes. Old fears or blocks often trace back to past life trauma. Okay, that is the number one thing people actually go to have a past life done for, is because there's something that's so deep inside them. And this is usually, you guys, my babies, so emotionally devastating, and you don't have an idea of what it actually is. You'll get little bits and pieces in this life. Like you'll feel like, okay, I'm triggered by this, such as that closet door, right? I'm triggered by this. Or, when I'm sitting alone, I feel this trepidation, and it's so deep and it's so heavy. I know it has to be going back somewhere, but I can't figure it out. 9 times out of 10, when someone comes to you for I was going to say soul retrieval, that might be the next part of it, but would come to you for a past life regression, it will literally be because they feel like something is wrong in their space. And of course, that can go back to the chromatic evolution too, right? That can go back there as well. So wounding and healing, because again, when you're doing readings, and if you're not doing evidential mediumship, and let me put this out there, Nan, and I'd like your opinion on this as well. Evidential mediumship is a very specific way of doing messages. You are connecting to a loved one on the other side and providing evidence of who that is, right? You're providing that evidence, and then you're giving a message if the spirit is so inclined. And for me, that is my contract. You coming through, give me some evidence, but you got to give a message, because why else would all this be happening?
Yeah.
But a lot of the other types of readings we do, even though, I'm an evidential medium or an empowerment medium, a lot of the other readings that we do, Nan, are more based on, I'm lost, I don't know what my path is, I don't know what's coming for me. And usually it's in a place of dis-ease.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so thoughts on that though?
Yeah, and people will often come to us because they want that guidance. They want us to sort of tap into what the future holds. And though we're not fortune tellers, I find with a lot of my readings, I am definitely tapping into a lot of the Akashic records. I do Akashic readings, and I do animal Akashic readings. And so it's one of those things, it's very interesting how past lives, parallel lives, and soul evolution all tie in together. Like you might have a practitioner who's very specialized in hypnotherapy taking you back, but then someone like you or I would probably tap more into their Akashic record, work more with their higher self, work more with their spirit guides to bring those messages through, right? Because there's so many different modalities that we can bring forward for that. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and almost always, Tara, I shouldn't say almost always, but I'd say like a very huge percentage of the time, people will be like, I knew that. I just needed you to tell me.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's why, we say that most people come for affirmations. If you're not coming for an evidential reading, you're coming to have something confirmed or affirmed.
Yeah, exactly. And if I can add one more comment, the one thing, because I do animal readings, the biggest thing is animals have past lives too. And a lot of people don't really think about that part. So, they are coming here for their karmic evolution. So whether they were working on unconditional love or fear of abandonment or different things, it's also them incarnating and working with whoever has them to advance their soul, to get to the next level and to heal stuff from their past lives. So that in this lifetime, what did you call it? Our biggest, juiciest lifetime?
Our juiciest one.
Our juiciest one. That they're doing the same thing that we are, right? Like we incarnate to not just learn, but to teach. And so do animals, which is really cool.
Which brings me to the next 2 points here. You've just led beautifully into that. Soul contracts and life purpose prep.
Nice.
So soul contracts, people often have roles in your life in past lives, right? So and so was once your uncle, who's now your grandmother, who was once your whatever. Like that
Yeah.
comes up a lot though in past lives. Like, okay, you've had a past life with this person. One of the coolest things, now I don't even know this for a fact because I've never journeyed down this road. Okay.
Okay.
There is one person in my life who is one of my closest friends in our pod, of friends, who I just feel with every ounce of my being that we have done lives together, but in a way of like almost like a relationship,
Like a
husband wife
right. Okay.
relationship, because of the way we gel and the way we kind of feed off each other. It feels very relationship wise. Like, okay, you know me that well, like that's really. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
soul contracts coming back and reliving. I will never forget a reader told me that my daughter. First of all, he told me my daughter was a Chihuahua in the past.
Oh, sweet goddess. Okay.
I was like, oh dear. And then he went from that to that she was Guinevere in the Knights of the Round Table.
Okay.
And I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but he also told me that she was my grandmother at one point in one of my lives. So there was a lot there that I just couldn't resonate with, especially the Chihuahua part. I'm going to remind.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point you bring up, because I have people ask me all the time, like, can animals reincarnate as people and vice versa? And I've not seen it yet, to be honest. I've only seen animals reincarnate and incarnate as animals, and people reincarnate and incarnate as people,
And
or other beings in other constellations.
Okay, I have never had spirit indicate that to me in any way ever. So
About the animals?
About the animals, like that.
Yeah.
We come back as a cockroach, or
Yeah, and that's why I find that Chihuahua comment a bit hard to digest.
I mean, it just was so off the cuff. You know what I mean? Like it was so long ago, because Alana's in her, almost her mid-20s. And this was so long ago, and it was such a strange situation. That's when you still recorded, Nanny. That's when you still recorded on those little tiny tape cassettes.
Oh, yes.
Right? Now that we have nothing to play it on.
Right? Yeah. And it's in some vintage store for $500 somewhere.
Oh my God. Remind me to put in Instagram the story about the granny that showed up with a ghetto blaster on her shoulder for a reading, and Ryan had no idea what a ghetto blaster was. He was like, what is that? I gotta tell that story. Okay, not today though, people. Life purpose prep. Some past lives lay the groundwork for the mission in this one. I believe that all past lives lay some kind of groundwork for the mission in this one. The mission being what? What is the mission? I truly believe that we are here just to learn and grow and develop and become more. I believe in ascension. I believe that at some point we are going to journey through that white light up to the spirit in the sky and stay there. And stay there. We will be done here. We will have served our humanists.
Yeah.
We were meant to serve our humanists, and we won't come back down. So keep in mind that not everyone has 1,000,000 trillion past lives. Some people stay longer in spirit before they come back down. So they may have 3 lives where so-and-so had 7 lives in that, in a time period or whatnot. There's so many things that you have to dive deep in with spirit, and I've only done the bare minimum. So I believe, based on what spirit has shown me, that the groundwork, the life purpose, is to just develop, learn, and grow. And if we didn't learn something in the last lesson, you bet your booties, babies, that you're going to learn it in this life. Or you repeat it again, which comes back to the repetitive until understood. So let me put this out there. Why does it matter in this lifetime? Our latest, juiciest one. Why does it matter? Because recognizing patterns helps you break cycles. Helps you break cycles. So when you're thinking from a very humanist place, it's like, oh my God, if I pick another guy that, only loves his car, can never love me deeply, like how many of those guys do I have to go through? You actually have to break that cycle. You can't just think about it. You can't just be like, when that guy comes back in his new Mustang or whatever, I just aged me. But when he comes back in that car that's so cool and you're like, oh, that car is cool, you have to remember that you've had guys with cool cars. And the cars were more important than you. It is up to you. It is your personal responsibility to break those cycles. Not your guides, not your past life, but you can go back to that past life and pull it out there. Embracing your inherited gifts accelerates your spiritual growth. Hey, looking for a mentor, go to Nan. Looking for someone to kind of help you find your self-love, self-worth, come and visit me. There are things that other people can help you with. When it comes to recognizing that you are a psychic medium already, you don't have to do the psychic medium work, but you have to embrace the intuitive tools. If you can learn how to expand your third eye, see, hear, feel, know, and if you want to smell and taste, you can. But if you want to learn how to expand that will help you in every aspect of the latest, juiciest life you're living right now, right? Like, no lie. So you want to be able to be as powerful and purposeful as you possibly can in this lifetime. Healing old wounds frees you from fears you didn't even understand. Again, I want to reiterate this, Nan, and tell me if you agree with me. I'm not always the biggest fan of reopening wounds and re-traumatizing.
I'd have to agree. I mean, it could be very, very traumatic. That we are not psychologists, and there's people who are trained to do this, and you have to be ready to heal the wound in order to open it. So sometimes it's better to come back in another lifetime to address things if it's too raw, too real, too much in this lifetime.
And where I'm going with that is more along the lines of the more we harp on something, the more that we relive it over and over again, but nothing's getting better, it can be time to become more simplistic in the work. Severing cords. Bring soul retrieval. Bring pieces of yourself back. Do not worry about what it is you're bringing back, but make yourself whole again. Right? And I always say, and I'm going to, Nan just said this beautifully, there are people who are, I guess the word we're going to use is highly trained. 2 words there. Words we're going to use. Trained in this kind of stuff. And I just work with spirit. It's enough for me, but I cannot say that it's going to be enough for you. It's your personal responsibility to try everything you can try that is healthy and positive movement forward. So the other thing that I personally don't endorse is psychedelics. I don't judge anyone. If you feel you need peyote or ayahuasca, what is that? That's some new one. Now I can't say it. Oh, I can't hear you, Nan.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah. If you feel that is your cup of tea, baby, you go right ahead. If you need mushrooms or whatever, I ain't got nothing to do. I don't need that because it interferes with my spiritual work. It doesn't heighten my spiritual work in any way. I can't speak for others, but one of the things that I don't do is that. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. And here's another thing why it matters in this lifetime, our juiciest, latest lifetime, is that seeing relationships through a soul contract lens can shift how you actually react to people. Right? If you know that in a past life, this person was brutal to you and continues to be so, you know they're repeating a pattern.
Yeah, and more often than not, that's up to you to stop the pattern. So you can learn that and evolve from it, right?
And that goes back to the breaking the cycles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So taking that space and being like, no, that's not it. And if someone is being super, super, you're looking at them from a place of like, I feel so much anger towards this person. And you step back and you find that in a past life that there was a connection, that, there was a reason why you felt so much anger. You can choose to start healing that relationship in your own. You don't have to go up to them and say, hey, in a past life, you were my husband and I freaking hated you. You were the meanest, biggest asshole, because they're not going to understand. They're going to be like, whoa, I'm just your granny now, I'll just be this little lady. But honestly, you can start healing that. And that is a beautiful thing. So signs that you're feeling a past lifetime influence, a past life influence, let's call it. Intense attraction or aversion to certain people, places, or time periods. We've talked about that already. Water. I mentioned the closet. That's a story that's very hard. I probably won't tell that in depth anytime soon. But people, you know how you walk into a room and you're just like, I don't know who that is. I will never want to know. Thank you very much. I can be cordial. There are family members sometimes that you'll come across that's like in your family that you're just like, I just don't click with this person. I don't understand it. And that whole thing of, love your family because they're your family. I'm the person who says you can pick your friends, but you can't choose your family. Right? So those are ways that you can be like, maybe there's something from the past there that I'm thinking about. Skills you just magically know without training. Yeah. Right? We all bring those in from the past lives. I feel like that's a cheat, really, to be honest with you. Deep-rooted fears that seem to have no cause in this life. Big one. That's the biggest, I swear, out of all of them. That is the wounding and healing archetypes, right? That is the biggest one. And reoccurring dreams, visions, or deja vu moments, right? Those are huge ones for, okay. And, my daughter used to say when she was little, when I was older.
I love that.
Right? When I was older, and I'd be like, really? How much older were you? You know what I mean? Moments where she was going back and she was pulling stuff from a past life and saying, I've done this before. It's also why, and I'm hoping that at some point we can do a little more in this. And I'm not sure if you're touching on it, Nan, in our episode number 2 on this, but indigo children, rainbow children, crystal children, right? That has a little bit of stuff to do with past lives as well.
I think that would actually warrant its own episode.
Cool beans. Let's mark it down, baby. Someone in the universe remind us that we're going to do that. And be it spirit, be it a listener, be someone, tell us. So this is how I've seen past lives. This is the most, I think, simplistic information about what a past life is. What is the spiritual perspective? What is the purpose of getting a past life? I think I've given it its due diligence. And so what I want to do now, Nanny Boo, is that I want to do an exercise and just an on-air, come on guys, if you're watching this, listener exercise, and it's called Past Life Echoes. And I've got it. I had to write it out though, because Lord knows I would never be able to focus, do all this. So let's just take a moment, and if Nan, you're okay with this, babes? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ground. So I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to feel your feet on the floor, guys. I want you to feel your feet on the floor, even if you don't have your feet on the floor. Okay? Let's get tricky. Feel your feet on the floor. And I want you to imagine the roots going down deep into the earth. So through the floor, through the foundation, right? I want you to go down deeper into the earth and just let those roots go down to the core, to Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever you want to call its core. And as you're connecting to Mother Earth, she's keeping you present. She's keeping you in the here and now. I want you to call in your higher self. Just silently say, or say it out loud. I don't know who's in the room with you. Show me a past life that is influencing me now for my highest good. Okay, let's repeat it. Show me a past life that is influencing me now for my highest good. And see what arises. A flash, a face, a place, a feeling, even just colors. Don't force it. Just allow it in the moment. This is a quick exercise. You can always come back and do it again, and I'll include it in our Spirit Lounge group. Whatever you're receiving is the right thing to receive. You don't have to unravel it now. So now what I want you to do is I want you to ask, what was I learning in that life? Just let it come to you. Whatever it is. Just let it come. Third eye's open, doing the work. Now, how is that lesson showing me? How is that lesson showing me what I need to know? Why is it showing up for me now? I'm giving you just this little bit right now. As soon as you're done here with us, you're going to jot it down, voice message yourself, whatever it is, what you felt, what you saw, and what you know. And don't worry, I'll make sure you guys all get this and you can do it again. And it's that simple. So bring yourself back to this space, to this room, knowing that what you've received, you're not going to forget. And we will close this episode out because your past life impressions, they're important. You're going to want to do a little bit of work with them if you feel you need to. That's what I'm going to give, Nat.
That's great. And I love that we're going to put it in the Spirit Lounge. That is our private members group for anyone who's interested in joining us. It's only 20 Canadian dollars a year or a month.
I was going to say a year. Good word. Wait.
So hey, it's cheap like borscht, as my mom would say.
Yeah, I love that. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. Nan and I love you all. Love doing this. We love Spirit. So make sure you follow us on all our social medias. I'm Spirit Essence by Tara Diana.
I'm Nancy Christine Brady.
Go check out the Spirit Lounge. Check us out on our Instagram.
Spirits, Angels, Guides.
And that is where we will call this a night, a day, a do.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind the scenes fun.